Hello, just Jax here and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be working on the final canvas for my friend's little one's room, and this one's gonna require the most attention and focus out of all of them, as this one's going to be the most personalised one. It's got to include pictures of her kitty cats, the darling little Bean and Midge. So we've got some images of reference. What we're going to do first is we're just going to do a rough sketch of the layout. The original image sent was of a sort of nighttime scene again, with the moon in shot and a wall / roof of some such. Two cats sat on it and one of them looking at the other. And the requested changes to this were that the two cats were facing each other and that they were personalised as her two cats. So she sent me some images of reference of her cats. I needed some back shots because it's from behind you see them, and some profile shots so I can get the markings right of both cats and the little faces right. So we'll just start with a sketch, getting the rough idea put out there and any adjustments we're going to make. So we want to try and light up the face a little bit more, because this is quite not fully silhouette but not far off either, and we obviously want a little bit more light to somehow bounce off the faces so that you can see them a little bit more clearer. So that's what we're going to do. Before we get started, fingers crossed, this is going to be the last chance this camera has. Trying to get it in focus. It seems to flit in and out at will. It doesn't, it's meant to have an autofocus, but I can't work out how this autofocus works. I did a test shot the other day where I recorded my bathroom tiles, to the floor, to my foot, to my dogs, all in one take. Pretty much all in focus. But when I put the camera up there and have it panning down here, it seems to have issue with focusing, no matter what's going on, whether I start with my hands there, start with an object there, and start with a pad here. It seems to focus sometimes, but not other times. So I've decided this is going to be its last chance before I work out if my phone's capable of doing long videos. I did a little test with that one and they all come out clear no matter what I do with the camera. And I can see the focus in that one because a little light turns up in the middle to let you know that it's refocusing. This one doesn't have anything like that. I just have to trust it. And because the monitor, or the little screen, is, I think it's about 2.5 by 1.5 inches, something like that. All looks absolutely fine when it's that small, but when you stick it up on the big screen, you suddenly see that it's in focus 1 second, then not in focus. So fingers crossed. Let's begin. This is where we'll also see a change in light, because I've worked out when there's something dark to focus on, the screen stays somewhat light, and then it's something white to focus on, it suddenly goes a little bit darker, like it did just now. So let's press on regardless and see what we can do. So this is just going to be a pencil job to start. So let's turn this way. So this is going to be a portrait style. Now, the image of reference is something like this. So we're going to envisage this as a shed, because that's what it looks like to me, like a little shed rooftop. We have moon up here, And we have kitty cat number 1, kitty cat number 2, and that's pretty much what the image consists of. I'll make that a little bit bolder so you can see. I think that's everything. There's a little bit of leafage going on up here. So we might pop that in there as well. And then a little bit of like treetops or hedgerow sort of going on down there. And that's pretty much what we have. So we're going to look at how we're going to tweak this. I mean, I've already adjusted it slightly because this big cat is not looking this way. Little cat is looking at big cat. We're already tweaking it because we're going to have cats looking at each other. Podge them out a little bit. Yeah, that angled down a touch. But that's pretty much the layout of that. There's not much going on in the sky here. It's all fairly out of focus. So when we do the painting, I think what we'll do is we'll do a bit of rough penciling where things are going to be, but then we'll focus on the sky first and let that bleed down a touch, because the rooftop is darker, so you only need rough placement for that. The hedgerow, it won't matter if the sky bleeds into that, because that's much darker than everything else. This is fairly pale in comparison. Dark, and then obviously we don't want too much going on with the cats, so we can focus on as much detail as with them as possible. But we can also just re-white over the general areas if we need to. So that'll always be an option, like what we did. Oh, excuse, there's a spider. Stick him up in the plants. Go on, buddy. That'll be a better place for you. I think he sort of found his way. So, I'm trying not to forget about my tea. Let me get up. Where's cats? Hopefully in here. Ah, there we go. Now, big kitty cat has a very pink nose. and has white eyes. Has white sort of all around the face, like a bit of a mask. Sort of comes into the eyes a touch and then back out to the cheeks. Let's see how far round that goes. I think that goes all the way around, quite far round. And back down the neck a little bit. Yeah, this one eye that we're going to see, it actually comes in just before the eye, under the eye, a bit down here. And he is quite... he's on the darker end of being tabby. So his little stripes come back a little bit. He's got fairly wisped up ears. It looks like back here, pretty much stripes all around his body. We see his tail anywhere. Seems to have a bit of a white patch coming around his nether leg, but we can't see that, that's under there. Tail. Yeah, he has a little creep round here. Little creep of white. And then tail. Dark all the way down. It doesn't look like he's got a white tip. So pretty dark running down the centre. Striping round a little bit. Little guy. Has no white. And he's a lot darker. He's quite wide-eyed. Now, big guy has a very pale pink nose. Little guy has a much darker pink nose. And a little bit of white around the mouth. Like under the chin. And he's more traditional. Let's get in as far as we can. Yeah, he's got some more sort of chunkier stripes going around. Let's see. I'm going to make that any brighter. So we'll also use this to make little notes as we're going, so very pink nose. Darker pink nose. Flashes of white. And somewhat more sort of dark camel, we say. Definitely both got black stripes. And this one has more honey, lighter points. More darker on the whole. As for eyes, this one's got fairly green. Let's look in comparison. I think that one's got light green. Oh yes, he's pretty much all black down the back here. And same for the tail, pretty much all black down the tail. A few patches of stripe. His eyes are not as green as the big boys. So both green eyes. Big boy slightly, Midge slightly greener. Make sure I'm not missing anything. So I'm going to be using these images of reference. When we get to actually painting them. Also, it appears Midge has slightly pointier ears. And Bean is slightly more rounded. Yeah, and Midge has got essentially one sort of black stripe running right down the centre, and then the rest of him lightens up with a couple of little patches here and there. Okay, so let's go back to our original reference image. And what we'll do, now that we've got this here, is we will pause. I'm going to bring the camera up, because at the moment it's tragically too far down to get the whole canvas in view. Mind you, if we are just penciling out, that won't be so bad to begin with. Because we just want to get some rough placements. Let's just swap that out for a very soft pencil. Will do the job. And we'll get some rough placement on the canvas. So let me just bring that over here. Let's position everything. That up there. Just to get some rough placement. So I don't think we're gonna... Would it work to bring the moon in the middle? Bring everything more into the middle? Otherwise Midge is going to struggle getting a lot of light to his face, but if the moon was in the middle and the cats were shifted over so they were more central, and you had the moon shining right down the middle there, work better. Let's, before we do that, before we commit, hopefully this will focus just fine. I simply just turned the camera off and on again. See if that helps with the focusing. I'm wondering if all the canvas. That's alright, at least that's where a bush is going to be. I'm wondering if we put the moon in the centre. We bring everything more towards the middle. Cat 1. Cat 2. That work better. Because then we'll have the light shining right where we need it to, right down the middle. See, that does look like a good layout. Which we don't need to have the moon over there. We could have the moon over here anyway, couldn't we? What happens if we just pretend that moon isn't there for now? Because this is a nice layout, and I get why the moon's been positioned over there, because it's filling a void. We don't have to worry about that. I'll either bring everything central, so it's just focused on the cats, or we keep it how it is. Even if we shifted the moon ever so slightly. Then we'll still have a fair bit hitting the face. Let's have a think. Still have a little bit of greenery up there. We can still have a bushy line here. This is where we got to make a decision, an executive decision. I think we either keep with the original layout and make our own rules, because these aren't going to be like spotlit faces anyway. They're just going to be light enough for you to actually see who's who. Or do we bring it all into the middle, lose some of what's going on over here, bring that out over there somewhat, bring them down a little bit. I think they're all right where they are actually. But do we have moon here? Decisions. I think we will keep it. We will keep it like this. We might bring the moon over just a touch. Yeah. So let's just loosely. So we're going to want cats here. Bring this down. So if we start from about there, bring this loosely across here. Two cats here and here. Pencil line over there. All out in the middle of nowhere. So roughly cat there and there. Bush line. We bring the moon over a touch. Right, don't know how much of that you can see because I don't want to make it too dark right now. This is going to be our general layout, so let me put that away for the moment. In fact, I'll leave it open. Actually no, I won't, don't need that open right now. We'll shut that for a second. We'll get that back open in a moment. Pop that over there. Right, so this is going to be a rough layout. So I'm going to end this first bit right here. Go and get myself prepared. So sort out this corner because I need just paint and paintbrushes up that corner right now, not pens and markers. When we come back, we're going to get started with the painting. I did say during the editing of the previous videos, I'm going to try and make an attempt to roughly end the video at the point where that part will be ended. So we'll call this end of part 1 here, and part 2 will start up again with the next one once we've got all the paints together and everything. So in an attempt to be a bit more organised, and I believe everything is more organised today. Everything's charged, everything's plugged in, everything's turned on the correct settings. It's just the focusing that's an issue. So, like I say, part 1, sketching out, practice sketch what we're going to do, getting our ideas out there, making some notes along the way, and then roughly lining out very lightly, it's somewhat dark in places, so excuse me, where we're going to have everything. So yeah, we'll call that end of part 1. So thank you very much for coming and checking me out and checking out the final canvas in this series of the blue theme, the blue night theme. And yeah, take care and hope to see you again soon.